Jabbar, is your team here before we go any further?
My team is here. I do see the speakers, and my chief judge is here. Chief Judge, would you confirm all your judges are present?
They are present and accounted for, thank goodness.
All right. Then let's go ahead and start with the table topics contest. And for that, the chair for the contest is Jabbar Buchanan. If you would help me welcome Jabbar.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. I hope you've had a great lunch, and it's been a pleasure listening to the chat. One shout out here, John. I sat in your session on podcast, and it was very educational and timely, and I learned a lot. I'm a guy that always wondered, like, how do they do podcasts? And so I really learned a lot in your session today. But at this time, it is now time to begin our table topics contest, where we get to hear from our people that have advanced to the district level today. As we begin today, I have a few things I want to share with you as your contest master. The first thing is the rules have been reviewed with the chief judge and the contestants. The contestants have been informed of the location of the timing lights. As you can see, timer number 1 has the hand raised, and so you see it on your screen. For the table topics contest, here are the timing rules. The green signal will be displayed at 1 minute and remain displayed for 30 seconds. The yellow signal will be displayed at 1 minute and 30 seconds and remain displayed for 30 seconds. In addition to that, the red signal will be displayed. The red signal will be displayed after that. The taking of photographs during the speech is not permitted. Each contestant selects their own topics or speech. In this case today, I will be giving them the question for them to answer. One other housekeeping thing, I have a few more here, just bear with me. Everyone is to remain muted during the contest. And luckily with our friends, Zoom Masters today, they're going to help us ensure that no one comes off muted unless they are the contestant competing. No use of chats is to be used during the contest today. In addition, no Zoom emoji features or reactions during the contest. As we have learned the last couple of days, per the rules, the cameras are to be turned off. So I will ask you to turn your cameras off here momentarily to ensure that that does not distract our contestants. So again, cameras are to be turned off. In the event of a technical failure or signal or timing equipment, a speaker is allowed 30 seconds extra overtime before becoming disqualified. So again, in the event of a technical failure or signal or timing of an equipment or issue rather, a speaker is allowed 30 seconds extra overtime before becoming disqualified. At this time, I want to introduce to you the speaking order of each contestant for today. The first speaker is David Teasdale, is our first speaker for today, David Teasdale. Our second speaker for today is Lisa Ruiz. The last name is R-U-I-Z, Lisa Ruiz. The third name is Gayle Mingledorff, or Dorff, Gayle Mingledorff. And again, her last name is spelled Mingledorff. Our fourth contestant for today is Rahul Kashyap. Rahul Kashyap. His last name is spelled K-A-S-H-Y-A-P. And our last contestant for today is Catherine McConkey. Catherine McConkey. And her last name is spelled M-C-C-O-N-K-E-Y. And judges, I believe you should already have those in your possession. At the conclusion of each speech today, I will then invite the next speaker to be invited to the room after there is a moment of silence, which will be 1 minute. I'll ask the timer for that. Upon completion of the speeches today, the voting judges and the tie-breaking judge will complete their ballots. And again, I will signal to them when to do that. Chief Judge, have all the contestants and judges been briefed?
Yes, all judges and contestants have been briefed. Let the contest begin.
Excellent. So ladies and gentlemen, let's proceed on with our table topics contest for today. And let's invite our first contestant to the center stage here virtually, David Teasdale. So if we can bring David Teasdale to the center here.
I need one brief moment. I apologize.
Are all the contestants in a breakout room?
And
yeah, that's what I need the moment for.
Excellent. And Nick, just let us know when we're ready, and then we'll proceed.
I will do that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, I wasn't more ready. Almost there, 80%. Okay. And David is spotlit and available to unmute. Back to you, Jabbar.
Thank you, Zoom Master. David Teasdale, can you confirm your mic is working?
Good afternoon, Jabbar. Yes, I can.
Can you also confirm that you can see the timer pinned on your screen?
I can.
Excellent. At this time, David, I am going to read to you the question. David Teasdale, if you had the opportunity to get a message across to a large group of people, what would your message be? If you had the opportunity to get a message across to a large group of people, what would your message be? David Teasdale.
Thank you, Table Topics Master, Competition Master, and guests. This is a tough one. There are so many different messages anybody can think of to provide to a large group. Would it be a large group of people you wanted to say, go out, do good work, preach your religion? Would it be a good thing to say to a different group, go out there and make people better? It depends on the audience. So looking at this, I'd have to think for a few minutes and come up with a single message that could be good for a wider audience. What would you want somebody to say to you? What one thing could be said to make a difference in everybody's life, whether they were little, whether they were tall, whether they were young, whether they were old, whether they were a Toastmaster or not? Male, female, race, color, creed, it doesn't matter. Personally, I think I would have to steal one and take one that's already been said. And it's been said to a very, very large group of people. Maybe I could pick two and let everybody pick their own. So for me, it would be a coin toss between party on, Wayne, or possibly be awesome to one another. And if you understand the movie quotes, even better. That is my message to the world. Thank you.
Can we call our second contestant to the center stage here, Lisa Ruiz? Lisa Ruiz. And Zoom Master, if you can pin her.
Yeah, she's here. Lisa, I need you to turn your video on so I can spotlight you.
Lisa, if you're speaking, I cannot hear you.
There's my video. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Can you see me now?
I can see you now.
Thank goodness.
Excellent. Lisa, can you see the timer?
I can see the timer.
All right, thank you. All right, let's proceed. Lisa Ruiz, if you had the opportunity to get a message across to a large group of people, what would your message be? If you had the opportunity to get a message across to a large group of people, what would your message be? Lisa Ruiz.
Thank you, Toastmasters. It's such a pleasure to be here today. The question is, if I had a message that I could relay to a large audience of people, what would I pick my message to be? And to be honest, it's all about being positive and what a difference this has made in my life and with so many people that I love. I've given this message so many times to my children when they wake up. I say, today you can either decide whether it's going to be a great day or a not so great day. And they've listened to me. You can make a choice to have a good day and to be positive about things. You can also make a choice to be negative. It's so easy. It's actually a lot easier to pick out everything in this world that we don't like, that we're not happy with, that creates dissatisfaction in our minds. And we can hone in on those things and discuss those things at our dinner table for years and years. I used to sit and listen to my family complain about the person they met, or discuss things that they didn't like about the neighborhood we were living in, or the yards that they saw that weren't cleanly kept. But I tell you right now, it's a choice. And at every one of those dinners, I tried to say, okay, I'm well informed about what you don't like. Now tell me what you do like and be positive about it. Choose to be positive. It's a very difficult road to hoe, but it's the best one for your life. It'll keep you happy and it'll keep you on the right road. And with that, having the faith to remain positive, that there's a controlling factor in your life, is what it's all about. And that's what I'd choose to discuss. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Timer. Welcome, Gayle. Gayle, can you unmute yourself, please?
I just unmuted.
Excellent. Gayle, can you also see the timer on your screen? Timer 1.
Absolutely. Right up there, and it's blue.
Excellent. Gayle Mingledorff. Is that, am I saying that last name correctly?
Mingledorff.
Mingledorff. Thank you. Gayle Mingledorff. If you had the opportunity to get a message across to a large group of people, what would your message be? If you had the opportunity to get a message across to a large group of people, what would your message be? Gayle Mingledorff.
Contest master and fellow Toastmasters. I think my message would be something that has been said for many, many years. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth. I think my message would be, if it could be understood by everyone, is that we simply need to listen more. There's a majority and a plethora of opinions, and people have become so polarized that we don't stop to listen. And if we could at least take the time, and I think that's a major thing, take the time. And can you stop this wheel that goes around in your head that's thinking, what can I say? How can I defeat that? How can I make them wrong and me right? How can both of us be right in our own way, but listen to each other and have actual conversations rather than yelling and screaming debates, or things in conversations that are so polarized that we cannot come to anything that might possibly be in the middle. So my message would simply be to open your ears, and not only open your ears, but open your mind and go to the possibility of what could be, what might happen. And then also in that, have ultimate respect for the human spirit and everyone's ability to have their own thoughts. I would love to see peace and love to see us come together, listen, and actually talk. Contest master.
We cannot hear you at the moment.
Yes, I was trying to. It says host is not allowed, but now I am.
Excellent. Also, do you see the timer on your screen?
I do, sir.
Excellent. Rahul Kashyap, if you had the opportunity to get a message across to a large group of people, what would your message be? If you had the opportunity to get a message across to a large group of people, what would your message be? Rahul Kashyap.
Getting a phone call from your parents from all the way from India that your only surviving aunt has passed away. That was earth-shattering for me. I was too close to her. Even though she was my father's younger sister, she was very kind to us. We all lost her due to COVID-19 a year and a half ago. Mr. Table Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, and dear guest. If I have to give a message today, I will give a message to you all of to be kind to each other. Yes, kindness goes long way. If you could be anybody in this world, we choose to be kind. We have seen through this pandemic on many other things, and right now there is a major war going on. There is no replacement for kindness. We have seen that there is so much things going on in the world. We have seen that there is a lot during COVID-19. We have seen our neighbors, our family members, our own colleagues in hospitals where I work in suffered because of COVID. We have lost precious life. And we have also seen people turning to each other. May it be people from certain regions, certain race, or certain ethnicity, but this is not the time. As in human race, we all are one. We are facing all this together. The goal is that we respect each other. We give the same respect and kindness we expect from everybody else. Toastmasters, it does a great job in telling and teaching through our mentoring opportunities, as well as our pathways and so many different things. We can practice the kindness right here during our club meetings, our division contest, our area contest, our district contest, and so on and so forth. I have been so much benefited from this mentoring and kindness. So the message to me, from me to you all, is that be kind and then spread that kindness. Back to you, Mr. Table Topic Master.
Hello, Catherine. Catherine, if you could unmute yourself.
Yep, that's what I was doing.
Excellent. Can you also see the timer as well?
I can.
Excellent. Catherine McConkey, if you had the opportunity to get a message across to a large group of people, what would your message be? If you had the opportunity to get a message across to a large group of people, what would your message be? Catherine McConkey.
Have you noticed, Mr. Contest Chair, that everybody these days seems to think that they have the right opinion? And have you noticed, fellow Toastmasters, that most people seem to think that the other person is the one who's intolerant? If I could get one message across, just one, the obvious to say, love one another. And yet all the people who I see who say, you're being intolerant and I'm right, are also preaching, love one another. So maybe love one another isn't the best message. I think if I had the ability to get one message across and do it effectively and have it actually take root, that message would be, assume that the person you're talking to has good intentions. Because if we could assume that the people we're talking to are coming from a place in their heart where their intent is to show love, then we could set aside our frustrations that they're right or they're wrong and have a dialogue have a conversation, be able to discuss our intentions, and then reach a conclusion together that would allow us to, in fact, show love. Because I honestly do believe that most people are coming at this life from a place of a good intention. They might just not be saying it the same way that I am or that you are. So that's my message. Love one another, but do it by assuming that the person you're talking to is having good intentions. Mr. Contest Chair.
David, reading your profile, one of the things that you have noted, and I would like for you to share more about. David, I think you're muted. You're pointing to your headset.
Yep. Apologies. There we go. Okay, you can unmute yourself now, Dave.
Thank you, Nick.
Excellent. Thank you, Zoom Master, for juggling a lot of things there. We appreciate it. David, in regards to you, you stated you have 23 medals from half marathons, 15K and 5K races hanging in your office. Can you share a little bit more about that? Marathons, that's pretty impressive. In this case, half marathons, but you have 23.
Thank you very much, Jabard. Yes, I have two rackfuls over here. Both my wife and I have our medals in our office. We decided we'd try and get fit a few years back, and we looked at it and we said, I know, let's do one of these 5K races because it's 3 miles. We can do that. So we signed up for one and we completed it and we thought, yay, we can do this. And the next thing I know, we've signed up for 5 half marathons that year. And all of a sudden it became a challenge. Can we do this? How do we better ourselves? And we enjoyed it. I have to say it's horrible whilst you're running. Some of those races are just nightmarish, and the heat and the water, and but it suddenly changes when you see that finish line and you get across it and you're sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, I'm capable of this. I actually just ran half a whole marathon. I haven't quite got to the whole marathon bit yet, but some of the smaller races are just, we do for fun now, and we do it to raise money. We do it for enjoyment. But yes, we've done 23 races over the years, and this has probably been, I think, about 7 years we've been doing this now. So it's not too many every year, but it helps keep us fit and it helps have fun.
Excellent. What a great benefit. Keep you fit. Today, as you know, in the Nashville area, there's a marathon today happening downtown. So when I read that, I actually thought of you. So David can't be down there because he's competing today, but we appreciate that. People like you inspire me. I did a marathon once before, and first and the last time I've done it. I can say a half marathon. So not a full one, but a half one. So thank you, David, for being with us today. Let's proceed to our second person that we had with us today is Lisa. Hello, Lisa. On your profile, you state your favorite quote, and it is, your mind is a garden. Your words and thoughts are seeds. You can grow flowers or you can grow weeds. Can you share a little bit more about that favorite quote?
Well, I actually heard that the first time through a Toastmasters meeting, and I can't remember who was the one that actually brought it up, but it just hit me like a ton of bricks because I have spent the majority of my motherhood trying to train my children that about positive thoughts, which was weird because that's what the minute was talking about today. But it's hard. It's hard to train your mind to not immediately go to the negative. And this little quote says it all. And I have gotten my children, my grandchildren now know that quote by heart. And every time they start getting a little bit, whiny and negative and just not being, trying to be happy, I say, hey, your mind is a garden. And the words and the thoughts you put in it are seeds. You need to pick those carefully and make sure that you're going to grow those flowers over your lifetime instead of just bringing up weeds. And they're 5 and 8, but they really have grasped it and they get tickled at it, but it's something that I've really tried hard to talk to anybody that's surrounding me about, being positive over just naturally gravitating to the negative. So.
Thank you, Lisa. And the last thing, and I'll transfer to the next person, you state what inspires you the most is leaving a legacy. So thank you for sharing that, leaving a legacy. And David, I wanted to quickly go back to you. What inspires you the most is helping others. So we appreciate you both today. Our third contestant for today was Gayle. And Gayle, something that stood out to me on your profile in regards to your interests and hobbies, and they are staying interested and healthy. Can you share a little bit more about staying interested in what that interest is, or things you stay interested in?
I think as long as your mind is working, there's a chance we're going to survive. You know, there's this incremental ability of us to continue to keep our minds working and active. And having dealt with a cousin that I was responsible for with Alzheimer's, even though his mind was active all the time, it can always happen to you. But I think if we're always interested, find something that fascinates you. And if you do that, you're going to stay healthy because it invigorates all the rest of you. And I'm actually now looking for new things to be interested in. I've been a teacher, a trainer most of all of my life, but I've started writing now, and I have 2 books with my editor, and I found that I really enjoy that because it initiates new ideas, and when I find a voice that works, it just makes me so happy. But I think it starts with the mind, and also, you know, when at a certain age, you have to make yourself be active physically. And I have found that if I don't make it a choice, that in the morning, this is what I do. I don't decide whether I want to do it or not. This is just simply what I do. And I find that I'm healthier, I feel better. So staying concerned and excited about life. There's so much to be excited about. Yes, we have a lot of things that can be very depressing. But look to the bright side and always stay healthy. So I'm always up for the next adventure. In fact, I was thinking about that today as I was going to get some lunch. I thought, what's my next adventure? I'm not quite sure, but I'm sure it'll be there.
Thank you, Gayle. I feel so inspired this weekend. We have podcast people that can create podcasts. We got book writers like Stephen, and we have you writing books and others. I'm like, I need to get busy in my spare time, listen to all these great things our fellow Toastmasters are doing. So, Gayle, the last thing, I'll just read this. You state what inspires you the most is seeing understanding. So thank you again for Gayle being with us today. We appreciate that. Our fourth person that was our contestant today is Rahul. Rahul, something that stood out to me in regards to your profile, you know that you were the Toastmasters of the Year. And given you are amongst friends, in this case, Toastmasters, can you share with us what the feeling was like to be Toastmaster of the Year for yourself?
Thank you, Mr. Contest Chair. It's simple. You bribe enough people, you buy coffees and chocolates and flowers to them, and then you boom, you get it right there. So it's very easy. Feeling was good. I spent so much money. No, I'm just kidding. I think on a very serious note, it's an absolute honor and privilege to be even nominated for something like a Toastmaster of the Year for the area division and so on and so forth. I think it is something your leaders from your club recognize it for what you have done towards the club's performance, what you've done individually from your speeches and taking different roles, or having some sort of leadership role, inviting members as well as mentoring some of these members. So it's a fulfilling feeling. I do a lot of mentoring outside Toastmasters as well, and it helped me hone some of those skills through Toastmasters in last 11 years. So it was an absolute privilege and honor to be there. And I would challenge all of you who are club leaders, find that one club member and nominate them for Toastmasters of the Year award. You never know, they'll bring back that award to your club.
Thank you. And the last thing you state, what inspires you the most is life around me. Life around me. So thank you. And again, congratulations at the time that you were Toastmasters of the Year. The results are in, but before I announce the results, let's go to our last person for today. That was our final contestant, Catherine. And Catherine is full of hobbies. So if I need to learn how to do something, I'm in the right crowd today because we have a very talented group of people. Catherine, you noted quite a few of your hobbies, but the last one that really made me laugh when I read it, and I'd like for you to talk a little more about this. You said you have interest in cooking, sewing, reading, but lastly you said, and occasionally annoying my husband and child. Annoying my husband and child. So can you share with us some ways that you annoy your family? I thought that was pretty funny. And Catherine, you're on mute, by the way.
It just figures that my joke would come back to haunt me. I can annoy my daughter simply by saying your room is dirty and it really needs to be cleaned. And I'm sure that there isn't a mother here who hasn't got that same magic talent. My way of annoying my husband is by being late. Now, I am getting way better at it. When we first married, I think he probably thought I would never stop being late. Now, there are times I'm actually ready ahead of him, but I would say that definitely it's the thing about me and my husband and time is that he has figured out that if I'm with anybody that is a friend of mine and we're shopping, that it goes into a whole different timing reality. It's like a multiverse, only it's the shopping verse, the shopaverse. And I've finally got him to understand why that changes when I compared it to football. I said it's football time for wives, and we're going shopping, and we'll be back after a few penalties, after a few touchdowns, a really good halftime, and the after game commentary. And that worked.
Excellent. As a Toastmaster, it's funny when I hear other Toastmasters say, I run late. I'm surprised your spouse does not pull out the red and the yellow and the green card on you like, we got to go. Excellent. And what inspires you the most, Catherine, is hearing how someone overcame themselves to achieve a personal goal. So thank you for sharing that with us today in regards to what inspires you the most. We appreciate it. Again, to all the contestants, thank you for allowing me to just briefly interview you and again competing today. So now as the buildup has arrived, it's my pleasure to announce the results for today's Table Topics contest. I have been notified by the chief judge there are no disqualifications in regards to timing of today. I will announce the third place first, then the second, and then the first place winner. The third place winner for today is Rahul Kashyap. Rahul Kashyap is our third place winner. Our second place winner for today is Gayle Mingledorff. Gayle Mingledorff. And our first place winner for today is McConkey. Catherine McConkey. Great job to all of our contestants. We appreciate you competing today. Again, congratulations to all. I believe that concludes our contest, but before I finalize my statements, thank you to all of our judges, ballot counters, and timers that participated to make this successful today. We thank you for your participation as well. And again, to our Zoom master, thank you for getting people in the right location. So that concludes our Table Topics contest.